Welcome to Conscious Living. Hello, my little friend. Just a quick reminder, if you want to be in the cat club, talk to your guardian or your parents and make sure that you go to the link down below to become a patron so that you get your first 3 exclusive Heidi Cherry and Vaya stories on the 7th of this month. Are you ready to meditate with Corey? Are you ready to be still and quiet while you listen to this story so your body can relax and fall to sleep? You've probably had a long day, busy playing and running and doing fun things. Now it's time to rest. Winnie was laid in bed. She was very, very proud of herself because recently she got to the point where she didn't need her mummy to stay in the room with her at night when she fell asleep. Winnie was doing it all by herself. She liked to listen to stories, meditations by her friend Corey, and this would help her relax and fall to sleep. She was doing just that. She closed her eyes, relaxed her little feet and her body. Everything was snug as a bug in her bed. She was warm and comfortable and safe. Just perfect. Everything was just right so that she could fall fast asleep. She started to dream. She was dreaming that she was walking through Fairy Forest. Fairy Forest was a magical place, a place where fairies and elves and pixies lived, but only special people got to see them. People that believed in them, just like Winnie did. In her dream, she was walking through the forest, but she wasn't Winnie. She was Cinderella. She was dressed in rags. She had no shoes on. She was very, very tired and hungry. She'd been working all day in the tower, scrubbing the floors, cleaning the kitchen. Finally, she got to go outside and go and walk in the forest. There were little birds flying around and the trees were blowing gently in the wind. The forest was beautiful. The sun was shining down through the trees, and Cinderella, Winnie, was just letting the sun shine on her face as she walked through the trees, listening to the birds, singing their songs, feeling very happy about just being outside in her favorite fairy forest. Sometimes, if she was lucky and very, very quiet, she would see the fairies, tiny little fairies, sparkling in the moonlight or the sunlight, depending if it was day or night. She would watch them. They would fly from tree to tree, talking and chatting to each other. They were super cute and so tiny. Sometimes they would leave her little presents. Sometimes she would find necklaces. Sometimes she would find sparkly fairy dust. On this particular day, she decided to rest underneath her favorite tree. It was a big, strong oak tree, very, very old. She was sat down, leaning her back against the bark of the tree, looking up at the branches. She stayed very, very still and quiet. And then she saw them. All the little fairies started to appear. Pink ones and purple ones, golden fairies. They were all different colours. sparkling in the sunlight. They were buzzing around, doing things with the leaves, from branch to branch, talking to each other in tiny little fairy whispers. All of a sudden, a note, a piece of paper, gently flew down from one of the branches in the tree. On the note it said, "We have a present for you. We have a very special gift because you're a very special girl." Cinderella looked around. She didn't see anything. The fairies whispered, "Go over to the creek. Walk over to the creek. You'll find your very special present." Cinderella stood up and started to make her way over to the creek. It wasn't too far away from her special tree. When she got there was the most beautiful, sparkling, perfect princess dress laid over one of the rocks by the creek. It was rainbow-coloured, and the sun was shining down on it, and it was like the strings, the cottons that they'd made it with, that they'd sewn it with, were sparkly, golden and silver. It had frills all over it, pink, purple, lavender, green, blue, yellow. There was puff sleeves that sparkled in the sunlight. It was like the whole thing had been sprinkled with magical fairy dust. It was the prettiest dress she'd ever seen, and there was a moment where she didn't think she deserved it. She held her breath, put her hands over her heart. She was so happy. Was it really for her? Was this perfect princess dress really for Cinderella? Me? The fairies flew over and helped her to get into the princess dress. It fit perfectly. The puff sleeves and rows of all the different colours frills. She felt like a princess. The tiny little fairies told her she was a princess. "Look at yourself in the water," the fairies said. "You'll see just how much of a princess you are." Cinderella walked over to the creek and peered into the water. When she looked, she saw that she wasn't Cinderella. She was Winnie. In her dream, she turned into herself. And Winnie was wearing the princess dress. She looked so sweet. It fit just right, and they were right. She looked just like a magical princess. She was spinning and dancing, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, beautiful music started to play. The fairies were dancing and flying with her. The pixies came out from behind the trees, and they were dancing with her. The little elves came from behind the mushrooms and the rocks, and they were dancing and playing. Everyone was dancing by the creek to this most beautiful, gentle music, magical music that was playing in fairy woods. After a while, Winnie got tired. She lay down on the grass in the sun. It was soft and warm, just like a big, soft, comfortable bed. There were flowers all around the forest floor, and they smelt so sweet. The perfume from the flowers was making her sleepy. She thought maybe she could just take a rest, have a little nap right where she was. All the fairies and the elves and the pixies brought flowers and placed them all around her. She closed her eyes and took in a big, deep breath. Flowers smelled so good, so sweet. She relaxed her little toes. Her legs got heavy and sleepy. Her hands and her arms got heavy and sleepy. She could hear the music still playing, little giggles and whispers and laughters from all around. She was so happy. She felt so safe and content in her favorite woods. Everything was just right. Her head relaxed. Her body relaxed. Everything got very, very, very comfortable. Her breathing got softer and slower. And finally, she found herself fast asleep in fairy woods, surrounded by all of her friends, the fairies, the pixies, and the elves. All lay down and decided to take a little nap with her. They all snuggled around her body in the flowers. Everyone fell asleep. It was the bestest dream. The bestest dream that Winnie had ever had. Winnie realized she was a princess. She had lots and lots of friends. So many friends. There in fairy woods. The